So we'll continue now with the club presentations. The next one up is Antigua. There's a 5-minute presentation on behalf of the clubs of Antigua. This is being presented by President Joanna Spencer.
Fellow Rotarians and guests, good afternoon. Before I begin my presentation, I'd like to acknowledge 6 members of my club. They were very instrumental in this project, especially my Assistant Governor, Evangeline Allen, and our Service Project Director, Kirk Francis. Now, our project was around mental health and suicide. During COVID, I think it was a time that really challenged a lot of us as business persons, as employees, whatever the case. I'm sure that many Rotarians who own businesses would have had to make very tough decisions as to whether or not, could my business continue? Do I have to lay off staff? And there was an impact on those persons on the receiving end and also Rotarians who had businesses. Now, when we think of mental health, a lot of people think of someone that's crazy. You don't have to be crazy to have mental health. It's, the different things that happen in society that impacts us as individuals, and sometimes it can lead to suicide. Now, in Antigua, we had this project that was planned since the beginning of the year, and the intention was to roll it out during September, which we would normally recognize as Mental Health Month. The weekend before our project was to be rolled out, we had a suicide, and it was by someone who was young, and she seemed okay. She didn't seem like someone who had mental health issues. She went to work every day, everything was normal. She participated in a lot of activities. So the project was really timely. Now, a second component of this project was a scavenger hunt, and at the scavenger hunt, we would have also partnered with our Rotary Club, our other Rotary Club, Interact Club, and other service organizations such as JCI. And we would have basically done a hunt for a cause. Our AG would have done a really good scavenger hunt, which he mapped out our island. It also taught us the history. But at the end of the scavenger hunt, we had a nurse and a therapist. Now, Antigua is not a shrink culture, and I think a lot of times we could really avoid the suicide part if we had someone to speak to. So we had a therapist who came on board to kind of give persons an idea of, why it is important to seek counsel and avoid going to that step where you feel like you are being pushed over the bridge. I think trust is a big thing. A lot of persons do not trust speaking to someone. We're in a small community. So we really wanted to bring awareness, and the monies that we'd have raised from that project, we'd have said we're going to give back to persons who want to access this help. Unfortunately, a lot of persons did not really come forward because, again, I think they did not want to tell a random stranger what was happening in their lives. But that was really the idea of the project. So I'm going to show a 5-minute video which recaps what the project was and the activities of the day. It was a really great, fun event. Between the months of August and October 2021, the Twin Island nation of Antigua and Barbuda was left in a state of shock after a series of suicides committed by young persons between the ages of 16 and 14. This raised concern in our small community, and there was a renewed interest, focus on how to recognize and assist persons who were silently suffering with issues affecting their mental health. Somehow, an effort had to be made to raise the bar of awareness, to help our community to remember, to reach out and check in before the devastating effects of being unable to bear the pressures of life continued to prevail. Mental health covers emotional, social, psychological, and even to some extent, spiritual well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It can negatively impact all aspects of our lives: school, work, relationships with family and friends. It also impedes our abilities to cope with pressures of life and view ourselves in a healthy and hopeful manner. The Rotary Club of Antigua, in collaboration with the Rotary Club of Sundown and the Rotary Club of Antigua, launched its mental health campaign in the latter part of October 2021 to do its part in raising awareness. The initiative began with social media posts featuring tips on dealing with, identifying, and coping with mental health issues. The club also made a donation to the country's lone medical mental health facility, the Clearview Psychiatric Hospital. The staff and patients were humbly appreciative of the gesture, as mental health is often stigmatized and ignored. On October 26, 2021, the club hosted a scavenger hunt as a fun and exciting way to sensitize the public about the social issue. The true meaning behind the hunt was never underestimated, as a number of our corporate and social sponsors participated in the initiative to spread the reminder to check in with our loved ones. The extensive coverage on social and traditional media leaves us with hope that the conversation continues, that we can continue to have a positive impact on our community's acceptance and actions as it relates to mental health of our citizens. Mental health illness can affect all ages, sex, economic, and social demographics. We keep checking in. There is still more work to be done. That is the end of the presentation. I just want to say one thing. I think people need to continue to check in. I think mental health is something that's still big. There needs to be a little bit more awareness around that and suicide. So I think there's still a lot of work for us to do as Rotarians. So we just encourage persons to be kind. You just never know what someone else may be going through. Thank you.